Suo Saimu, grieving over his junior brother's tragic death, choked out. It was over gathering herbs. Last autumn, 4 leaders from the Shenong sect came to the Sword Lake Palace, requesting to collect a few herbs from our back mountain. Gathering herbs is usually not a big deal. The Shenong sect, being herb collectors and medicine traders, had no prior conflicts with our infinite sword. But his brother Ma might know our back mountain is not easily accessible to outsiders. Not to mention that the Shenong sect only has a casual relationship with us. Even our good friends have never visited the back mountain for leisure. It is a rule passed down by our ancestors, and we, the younger generation, dare not violate it. It is actually not that important. The girl on the beam put the more than 10 small snakes in a small bamboo basket at her waist, took out a handful of melon seeds from her bosom, and continued to eat them, swinging her feet back and forth. She suddenly threw a melon seed at Duan Yu's head, hitting his forehead right on. She laughed and said, "Hey, do you want to eat melon seeds? Come up here." Duan Yu replied, "There is no ladder I can get up." The girl said, "That is easy." She untied a green silk ribbon from her waist and let it dangle down. "Grab the ribbon, and I'll pull you up." Duan Yu said, "I am heavy. You won't be able to pull me up." The girl laughed and said, "Let us give it a try. It won't kill you to fall." Duan Yu saw the ribbon hanging in front of him, reached out and grabbed it. The girl said, "Hold on tight." She gently pulled, and Duan Yu's body left the ground. The girl had considerable strength, and with a few tugs, she pulled him up to the beam. Duan Yu said, "Your weasel is really cute and obedient." The girl took out the weasel from her pouch and held it in both hands. Duan Yu saw that the weasel's fur was smooth and shiny, its red eyes twinkling as it looked at him, quite adorable. He asked, "Is it okay if I touch it?" The girl replied, "Go ahead and touch it." Duan Yu reached out and gently stroked the weasel's back, feeling the soft and warm fur. Suddenly, the weasel let out a chirp and darted into the girl's pouch. Duan Yu, caught off guard, leaned back quickly and almost fell. The girl grabbed the back of his collar, pulled him closer to herself, and laughed. "You really don't know any martial arts at all. That is quite surprising." Duan Yu said, "What is so surprising?" The girl replied, "You don't know martial arts, yet you came here alone. You were bound to be bullied by these bad people. Why did you come?" Duan Yu was about to explain when suddenly there was the sound of footsteps. Guang Ge and Guang Ji rushed into the hall. By this time, Guang Ji had put his trousers back on, but his upper body was still bare. The two looked quite flustered as they approached Suo Saimu. Guang Ge said, "Master, the Shenong sect has gathered on the opposite mountain and is blocking the mountain path, saying that no one is allowed to go down the mountain. We saw that the enemy was numerous and, without your orders, we dared not act rashly." Suo Saimu asked, How many people are there?" Guang Ge replied, "About 70 or 80 people." Suo Saimu let out a cold laugh and said, 70 or 80 people, and they think they can annihilate the infinite sword. "I don't think it will be that easy," Guang Ji said. "They shot an arrow over with a letter attached, and the cover is quite disrespectful." As he spoke, he handed the letter to Suo Saimu. Suo Saimu saw that the letter was addressed to Let Saimu in bold characters. Instead of taking the letter, he said, "Open it and take a look." Guang Ji replied, "Yes, master." He tore open the envelope and took out the letter. The girl whispered to Duan Yu, "The man who hit you is going to die." Duan Yu was puzzled and asked, "Why?" The girl whispered back, "The envelope and the letter are both poison." Duan Yu said, "Is it really that dangerous?" Listening to Guang Ji read the letter, it said to laugh. He dared not read his master's name directly, so he skipped the character Saimu the Shenong sector by order. "Within 1 hour, all of you must sever your right hands. Break your weapons and leave the Sword Lake Palace in the Wuliang Mountains. Otherwise, the infinite sword will be annihilated, leaving no survivors." Shen Shuangting, the leader of the western faction of the infinite sword, sneered and said, "What is the Shenong sect? They are making such a big fuss." Suddenly, with a loud bang, Guang Ji fell backward. Guang Ge, standing next to him, quickly called out "Junior brother" and reached out to help him up. Suo Saimu took 2 quick steps forward, extended his arm, and pushed Guang Ge back 3 steps with a burst of energy, warning it might be poison. Don't touch his body. Looking at Guang Ji, they saw his face twitching, the hand that held the letter turning dark in an instant, and after a few convulsions of his legs, he died. In just the span of a meal, the eastern faction of the infinite sword had lost 2 skilled fighters, and everyone was horrified. Duan Yu whispered, "Are you also from the Shenong sect?" The girl pouted and said, "I am not. What nonsense are you talking about?" Duan Yu said, "Then how did you know the letter was poison?" The girl laughed and said, "That kind of poisoning technique is so rudimentary. It's obvious at a glance. Such a clumsy method can only harm the ignorant." Her words were heard by everyone in the hall, and they all looked up. She continued to eat her melon seeds, her feet in the flower shoes swinging back and forth.